What is the most useless invention you have seen? Those old vibrating belts that you would put around your waist to help with losing weight. That's my first memory of thinking something was a ploy to take money from people through useless gimmicks. Good old jigglers. Because jiggling fat cells makes them go away, I guess. Just like having something swirl your hips around us. Like the Hawaii chair. There's an entire gym here that's basically regular exercise equipment, but they all have these vibrating pads you stand on while doing sit exercises. So in my giant store, they have a robot that randomly turns on and rolls around the store looking for messes. And when it finds one, it just stands there and does nothing, just standing there waiting for someone to clean out the mess. Marty, ours creates an overhead announcement, but 99% of the time, the mess is a fallen sales sticker or something equally innocuous, supposedly. It also scans shelves for general inventory insight, but unless the one camera is wide angle, I don't believe that. I bet you $3 they get rid of those goddamn things. It gets in people's way, including me, and it has giant cartoon eyes pasted on the top of it. I do not need a huge roving robot staring me down when I'm buying lettuce. Whatever that bracelet was that supposedly balanced one's kai. Oh my, loads of people had those back in college, lol. I feel like that's a different category. It's a snake oil scam. There's a US patent filed for a device that delivers babies through centrifugal force by spinning the mother in a circle. Uterus fetus. Reading that is a wild ride. Basically they believed civilized women didn't have the muscular strength that more primitive peoples have to push out their babies quickly enough, so they wanted to spin white women on a merry-go-round to dislodge babies from their weak pelvises. I love historical healthcare edit. Okay, so apparently this needs to be said. I do not equate primitive to POC. The original patent did. It's not difficult to conclude that because context cues in the time the device was patented, that it's what they meant. Words like primitive were often used in history, including medical history, to describe POC. Regardless, it was joke poking fun at the racism in a stupid invention that was never actually created. And I'm not white. Beer foamer. So that your beer has a nice foamy head, like beer on TV. Came across it at a yard sale. Still in the original packaging. Lol. Yeah, just put soap in it to get the foam like a normal person. It costs nothing to pour a beer really badly into a cup. You often see this advertisement about the wristband that it gives you electric shocks as a punishment if you try to break a bad habit, like smoking. This is called aversion therapy. Well, this electric shock wristband has no magical sensors to detect when you are doing what you want to stop, and you have to push a button to give you the electric shock. If you would just use rubber band around your wrist and let it slap on your wrist as a punishment, you would basically get the same result for a fraction of the price of the electric shock band. Yeah, the big problem with the shock band is that if you're the kind of person who would break a commitment you make to yourself, e.g. I will quit smoking, you're also going to find an excuse not to press the button and shock yourself. This cigarette doesn't count because I'm stressed. This one doesn't count because... Or you could just stab yourself with a pencil. Last year for Christmas my insane aunt gave me a breakfast sandwich maker. I sold it before I used it, but the instructions made it look like you had to cook everything first, and then you insert the food in some slots and it will stack them up to make a sandwich. Stupidest thing I've ever seen. It's like that glorified juice dispenser that got $100 million in funding and an endorsement from Google. Is there a link? I wanna buy. I can never assemble sandwiches. Saw Bluetooth dice on Kickstarter a few days ago. What? Why? What are they connecting to? It's a nice concept for tabletop games like D&D where there are lots of rolls happening. If the dice could store a history of what you rolled. There are many scenarios where someone rolls and forget what the roll was when the info becomes relevant again. Source: I DM a bunch of bozos. Look up Jindogu. It's the Japanese art of the useless invention. Basically things that might almost work, but effectively don't because they're impractical. Like umbrella golf clubs. My personal favorite Jindogu was these little umbrellas that are supposed to protect your shoes from the rain, which you install by drilling holes in the shoes. I have a whole book dedicated to this. There was a TV show on True TV called World's Dumbest, and each episode would be just a collection of different videos with celebrities reacting to them. They had World's Dumbest Inventions, where they showed off dumb crap. I think the worst was a plastic thing sort of shaped like a dog. So if your dog wouldn't stop humping things, it had a designated thing to hump. Sue or someone would buy it for the dog. I miss that show. Cocktail napkins, they completely fail at their purpose. It doesn't keep the bar dry. They turn into a wet pile of shit in just a few minutes. They stick to the bottom of whatever you're drinking. Unless, like a troglodyte, you put a bunch of salt on it. Also, in some locations, they just blow the fuck away. Next time you see someone open a bunch of cocktail napkins, think to yourself, 100% of that will be thrown in the dump. After unsatisfactorily fulfilling their mission. Coasters, on the other hand, are superior in almost every way. It keeps the bar dry, reusable, collectible. I guess can put the bar's name on iTunes, blow away one soap. Oh, maybe you can't stuff them inside the neck of a beer. But I don't want people doing that with cocktail napkins anyways. Found the shill who works for Big Coaster. And there are a lot of different coasters, so you can collect them. I love my coasters collection. The Mendocino motor. Its power output is too damn low to fulfill any meaningful task except showing off its own principle. It's a nice desk decoration though. That's not a useless invention, that's a dope office ornament. I want one. For the unknowing. My granddad was a NASA master machinist for the Saturn series rockets. On his break times, using a bit of spare metal, he'd create little trinkets and gifts for my grandmother, and what he created for my dad and uncles was what he called his do-nothing machine. It consisted of a solid steel rectangle about 3 by 3 inches, and maybe a ½ inch thick with 2 grooves cut in the cross pattern, and a handle to make 2 plates move back and forth within the grooves as you spun the handle. My dad and uncles never found anything useful for it, and when I was a kid I would try, and fail, to crack nuts to eat with it. If anyone else is curious as to what the hell I'm talking about, look on Google for a do-nothing machine. It's called the Trammel of Archimedes. His purpose is to move in an ellipse, used for cutting perfect ovals back in the day. This is just the sort of thing that, when it's unearthed by archaeologists in 1,000 years, will be determined to have been an iconic spiritual object. I got some piece of shit solar-powered water fountain that only squirts under full sun over 40 degrees, which even in Zone 9B where I live is rare. I'm guessing it was designed for people on Mars or something. Oh, I tried one of these a while ago. The cat absolutely loved it, and broke it within minutes. Still, totally worth it while it lasted. Thanks the cat. The strength of the sun on Mars is on average 1/3 to 1/4 of what it is on Earth. These refrigerators with Bluetooth and Pandora. Fucking why? You can now buy an oven with a camera in it so you don't have to get up and check it. Just look via an app on your phone. Some do have cameras inside, so you can check what's in your fridge while you're at the store. I think those are neat. The salad fork. I don't see why shorter makes it better. You could buy a salad glove. I remember seeing big pens marketed specifically for women. Why the butt would you gender a pen? Taxing purposes, they were taxed higher than other pens. To use on your papyrus paper for women.
Subscribe for more hot Reddit takes in your inbox, guaranteed.